announcements tonight. Welcoming Joanne McKinney, who is appointed a board member from the town of Parsonsfield, joining us for her first meeting tonight. And Finley, Hendrick, and Josephine Connolly, who are the new student representatives to the board, also joining us to give a report tonight for the first time. We do have a hearing of delegations tonight regarding the graduation date. And before we start on that, I'm just going to review our policy on rules for public comment at school board meetings for those in attendance. We do include a public comment period not to exceed 30 minutes of the agenda at regular business meetings. Comments by individuals are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and individuals may not relinquish a portion of their allotted time to another speaker. Speakers will be recognized by the board chair, myself, and comments should be addressed to me. Requests for information or concerns that require further research may be referred to the superintendent for further action or answers for us if we need clarification. Each individual who wishes to speak will be required to state their name and town, not city, town or city, of residence before beginning their remarks. And discussion of personnel or individual student matters are not permitted during public session, so no names, etc. Okay. Do we have someone who wants to speak first?
Yeah, I would like to.
Can you give us your
My
name?
name is Heidi Edwards, and I know I spoke with Carl the other day, and like one of the questions he had asked me was, what is this pertaining to, or where is it all coming from? It's just the right thing to do to change the date. I mean, it's always been the first weekend in June for the Special Olympics, and it may only affect a couple of students each year. Some years, none of them, but as volunteers and family members, we have to decide which way to go, whether we can go to the graduation or go to the Special Olympics. I have gathered a bunch of signatures for people who are on board with changing it, even if it's changed to a Thursday evening or a Sunday, because Sundays never affected us. We were able to go enjoy the activities and stuff. By having it on a Friday, it just makes it very challenging. These kids would have to do graduation, then drive up there late at night. And they just wouldn't, the next morning, it's an early morning, they'd miss the parade, they'd miss a lot of the activities. It's a weekend-long event, and these kids look forward to it so much each year. And I mean, if anyone who's ever been part of it or even just gone and witnessed anything there, it's really about empowerment and making everyone feel included. And SAD55 as a whole really is trying to push for everyone feels included. And I think by having graduation on a Friday, it's excluding these kids, or making them have to make a tough decision. And it just feels like it's the right thing to do. So.
Just for the record, so it's in the notes, what town are you from?
Oh, Parsonsfield.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak here tonight?
Am I allowed to speak since I didn't email because I was told that I wasn't allowed to?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So long as it's not about a staff member or an individual student. But in general,
Yes.
sure.
It'll
Yes.
just be talking about
Yes.
the kids in general.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so state your name and town, please.
My name is Alicia Chambers and I'm from East Baldwin. I honestly I would like for the graduation date to be changed because the kids look forward to having that opportunity to feel normal and to feel included. And this is their one time to actually be able to feel included with multiple different choices of what they get to do. They already make enough tough decisions. I don't feel that this should be another one that they have to make, or the family members, especially whenever we are from small towns. We don't necessarily have money. So being able to make those decisions and plan it, I just really feel that it should be moved for them. Yeah, they're the minority, but in the end, I just really feel passionate about this being moved for the kids in general. So if you guys would please take that into consideration, I would greatly appreciate it.
It would only graduate at 76.
Anyone else who wanted to say anything here today? No? All right.
Sure, she wants to.
I'm like, is this the?
What's that?
Would you leave those, the
Yeah.
copies with us?
I can,
Yeah.
and one of the, which wrote a note, I don't know if you want the note or not, but.
If you leave them here, I can return them back.
Yeah.
Can I leave
Yeah,
them
that's
back?
fine.
So everyone that's here knows, Mr. Landry has collected some other information for us because we knew that you
Mhm.
wanted to come and talk to us about it. And it is, we probably won't act on it tonight, we don't have an action item on our agenda, but we as a board can put it on our next or future agenda if, after discussion,
Yeah,
we feel like we
but
want to
I
take
know
action.
we've gathered the signatures, there's been a lot of, I'm sure we could have gathered more, but, working every day at the school, it's not always conducive to, doing that, so, but most of the students that I've talked to seem to be fine with it. I mean, we're not trying to take away from their day to shine or anything like that, we're just trying to give these kids the opportunity to shine in their own light. And I just really hope you would reconsider having it set in, having it set for that Friday. I mean, it could be any Friday, and I get the point of having it a certain day every year so people can count on it. I understand you're not gonna always make everybody happy all the time, but, I mean, they're part of our district, they're part of our schools. These kids are in the halls every day, we try our best to keep them as part of the group. And this should be something they shouldn't have to make a decision about and decide a tough choice, because, they have a lot of tough choices every day. So, and you've all had the opportunity to read my letter. I guess other than that, not much else.
Thank you for coming and speaking. Alright. Okay, so on with the rest of our agenda. Attendance, we're good, right?
Yes.
Consideration to approve the minutes for the September 3rd Board of Directors meeting. For a motion.
Jill?
Second.
Andrea?
All in favor?
Anybody else? Thank you.
Consideration to approve the proposed agenda for the October 8th, 2025 Board of Directors meeting.
Jill? Jen? Something with you, Jen.
I know. All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Student report. Welcome our new student reporters.
Good evening. The beginning of the Saukville Valley school year has been a great success. Fall varsity sports have been racking up the wins, and the crowd turnout at all the games has been immensely impressive. Upcoming games include the homecoming games, football on the 10th against Telstar, field hockey, and girls and boys soccer on the 11th against Lisbon.
In other extracurriculars, the fall play has been announced as Radium Girls, a historical play centering around the infamous Radium Girls, factory workers during and after the First World War, who were forced to ingest radium daily without knowing the deadly consequences. The other show dates will be November 14th, 15th, and the 16th. We invite and encourage everyone to attend. Other upcoming events include the Homecoming Dance, which will be on October 11th with the theme of A Night in Rio.
In academics, 9th graders have begun a new goal-setting tactic where each week they create a goal on a sticky note, and if they complete the goal by the end of the week, they get to crumple it up and put it in a basketball hoop. The upcoming National Honor Society induction ceremony will be on October 29th at 6 p.m. In the middle school, Newbery Honor Award-winning author Cynthia Lord is visiting 3rd through 8th grade on November 4th through 6th. Students will have the opportunity to ask questions about the writing process.
Thank you very much. Any questions for them?
Can I make a statement? So I go to a lot of the games, but the opening game for football was very well attended. Lots of staff was there, teachers and families, and yeah, it was good to see, plus the kids, but.
Okay. Business finance report?
So I'll take these, so we're doing 2 months at once, and they're both the same, and they've probably been pretty much the same for the last 10 years. State subsidies been received and recorded. The 5 town revenues also come in, received and recorded. Food service expenses at the start of the year do exceed revenues. We'll catch up as the year goes on. Very common practice for us. And adult ed revenues exceed expense are in line with the budget. The only additional piece I have this month that I don't usually have, our auditors came last week to start the audit process. It'll be several steps. They will ultimately, as you know, report to the board at the end, but preliminarily, they were very happy with the work that Peggy and her team have done. Peggy deserves a lot of credit, and we'll have the full report hopefully before December 31st. It lately has been March before we get the full report, but initial signs look very good, so Peggy deserves a lot of credit. That's finances.
Facilities.
Facilities, I'll take that one as well. It's the most action we've had in a long time. So recapping from last month, as you know, Isaiah Fields did a generous donation to expand the weight room facility at the high school. We waited some time to get fire marshal approval. We put out for bids. John Wing was the winning bidder. John Cervantes will meet with him shortly and try and shore up all the details and make sure it comes in like it's supposed to. Hopefully it'll be done before January 2nd, so we're pretty excited to have an addition on the weight room. The trees, 10 or so trees that they outlined that need to come down have been removed from the property, so that was a board suggestion. I thought it was a great suggestion. That work has been done. So we finally got a couple things done that we've been waiting a little while to finish. And the new news, the high school home varsity boys baseball dugout has a pretty significant crack in it. So try and get a mason to come and take a look, but it looks like that dugout will need to be A, repaired, or B, replaced. Someone has stepped up and said they would volunteer should it need a footing. I'm getting out of my depth and embarrassing myself in the construction, but like you put a home with the forms, someone volunteered to do that work should it need to be replaced. So I'll keep you posted. It's very early stages, but that dugout definitely is going to need some work. The high school football team has raised enough money to renovate the practice field, tilling 6 inches of the field, regrading, hydroseeding, and watering. That would come out of their football funds to try and improve their practice field after the season's over. That's more good news. Board members that have been around for a long time might be aware that we bought 3 U-Haul trucks to take trash to the Tri-Town Waste as a money-saving technique. We used to pay a company to haul our trash to Portland. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship. Time goes by pretty fast. They looked it up. I think we bought those U-Hauls in 2015, and they were old when we bought them in 2015. So it's now 2025. We've had those 3 U-Hauls for 10 years. We've certainly gotten some life and years out of them. It's time to probably start replacing them. We did buy a new 2009 Ecoline 450, so we are now looking to sell a 1999 Ford E350 box U-Haul trash truck that has only 226,000 miles on it. So that beauty is going for public sale in our shopping guide. I don't know when we can get it in. Miss Connors and Miss Day, probably next Wednesday would be my guess.
Should be able to, yeah.
So it's my duty per policy to inform the board when we sell surplus items. So again, with people that are here, now you don't usually have a crowd. Hot ticket item, it's a 1999. It, to be fair, needs motor work, it's rusted out, and they were questioning giving it a sticker. But it is one sweet ride. So we'll get that ad out. And then the other thing that we're looking to sell, equally beautiful, is a 1978 950 John Deere 2-wheel drive tractor that comes with a snowblower, mowing deck, and bucket loader. We don't use it. It is unsafe and worn out. All for the starting bargain price of $2,000. So you will see that ad. We got those starting prices. Johnny Cervantes checked with the John Deere dealership about what would be a reasonable starting amount, and he checked with a U-Haul company to see what would be a reasonable starting amount. We might not get that, team, I don't know, but it's my obligation to tell this board over 500. I tell the towns if it's 5,000 or more, we haven't crossed that threshold. Now maybe someone will bid 20 grand on one of those beauties. Get them, they're gonna go fast. That's the, we don't usually have this much excitement in construction, but tonight, we're rolling. That's what I have, construction report.
That's exciting.
It is exciting, yes.
All right, moving on, curriculum committee report.
We met on September 10th, and we had most of the principals, some of the school counselors and social workers and special ed director join us. We reviewed our graduation rates for 5 years. We don't have all of the rates for 24, 25 yet, but so we reviewed those rates. And we also looked at, Mrs. Day presented some great information from the Rural Dropout Prevention Issues and Solutions from National Dropout Prevention. Talked about why dropout prevention matters, the strengths of our rural schools, which we have several strengths. Talking about, you know, lower pupil to teacher ratios, a high level of teacher commitment and strong relationships with some of our community partners like the Saukville Valley Health Center. And talked about a lot of our programs, Character Strong, BAR programs that are used in our schools to help with those dropout prevention rates. Some of the challenges, talking about fiscal resources, lack of support services, mobility, some of those things. We talked about why students drop out, and some of the reasons for youth in rural settings. Talking about, you know, conflicts about moving away, getting jobs, environmental influences, things of that nature. So we looked at the, you know, different factors. There are push factors and pull factors and fallout factors that we reviewed. And we're looking at solutions, obviously, for student dropouts. So talked about some of the interventions that are used for dropouts, assigning adult advocates, providing academic support and enrichment all throughout their school years, personalizing learning environment and instructional processes, and providing vigor and relevant instruction. And so we are looking at some planning and implementation of interventions. Dr. Wolf talked about a book called The Disengaged Teen and how they'll be doing a book study with his staff this year. And we're going to continue to meet, do some dropout prevention discussion and develop an action plan. And we'll start that at our November 12th meeting.
This is great, thank you.
She asked me if I did these, I said I did not.
I was so
That was
impressed.
Suzanne Day. No, I will not take credit, it was really great. And it was a great presentation, Mrs. Day did, so.
Wellness Committee has not had a meeting. Their next meeting will be October 20th at 1:15 p.m. Lake Region Vocational Advisory Committee has not had a meeting. Next meeting, October 24th at 9 a.m. I think. Adult Ed Advisory Committee has not had a meeting. Their meeting will be October 28th at 3 p.m. Which brings us to Policy Committee report on the September 10th meeting.
The committee decided the following policies are ready for a first read at tonight's board meeting. GBGAA, bloodborne pathogens, GBGE, return to work and reasonable accommodations, administrative procedure, IHBAA-R, the referral procedures and general education interventions, administrative procedure, IHBB, gifted and talented education. We also reviewed IHBAI, the special education independent educational evaluations, and decided to revisit that one. This says October, but it's really gonna happen in November. Meeting because we had some unanswered questions, and our next meeting was today.
Which brings us to our action items on the policies that were just mentioned. So I will be looking for a motion for consideration to approve the following policies as first read. GBGAA, bloodborne pathogens, GBGE, return to work and reasonable accommodations, administrative procedure, IHBAA-R, referral procedures and general education interventions, administrative procedure, and IHBB, gifted and talented education. Is there a motion to approve those as first read?
Jill,
Second.
Jen,
I'm voting.
Oh,
Early,
I
sorry.
thought you were raising your hand to speak.
couple
All
of
right,
voters, you know.
all right, discussion, no? All those in favor? First read.
Thank you.
Consideration to approve the following policies as second read and adoption. EFDA, school nutrition program collection of money, EFE, competitive food sales, and EFBA, menu development options, offer versus serve. For a motion.
Jill,
Second.
Jen,
Those in favor? Superintendent report.
sure. So, for folks here, we usually don't have that, and for folks watching, appointments: Nicole Eaton, special ed tech at the elementary school; Leslie Crotto, special ed tech at the elementary school; Jamie Blaylock, special ed tech at the middle school; Darlene Bean, joining us as an evening custodian at the elementary school; and a resignation from Greg Trusker, middle school boys basketball coach. Truck and tractor sale we have covered. So graduation date, Heidi mentioned to me that she would be here. So just wanted to recap a little background on graduation, how we've gotten to this point, and certainly let the board have a conversation if you'd like, or whatever Missy would like to do. So I think for many years we graduated, and there are people that have graduated here and come to school here, have been around a lot longer than me, but I think we graduated traditionally on Sunday. There was a push, I want to say, geez, around the time maybe I started as superintendent, 10-ish years ago, a little longer, maybe a Friday night under the lights would be cool. So I think for many years back over time we had votes. Do you want Friday night, do you want Sunday? Seemed to be what the votes came down to. Typically around 70% of the folks would vote for Friday night, 30-ish% would vote for a Sunday. No graduation day comes without cons. Everybody has different concerns with different days, so we sort of settled on Friday night. I want to say for the last, since 2020 COVID, it's been all Friday nights that we've graduated. Once, my mistake, tried to put in a rain date. I'll never do that again, so people want the certainty of when graduation is, so we're never going to have a rain date again, because is it raining, is it not raining, my family's in town. But we've settled pretty decently on Friday night, so we knew this was coming and tried to check around. The two most popular days for graduation seem to be among high schools Friday night or Sundays. Those are the two most popular days. A few of our big neighbors, Massabesic, Bonne Eagle, Sanford, do like Tuesday night, Thursday night. I think primarily, I don't know this for a fact, but they rent big arenas, they're huge crowds, they go to the Civic Center or whatever. So the board, what are other schools that have Friday nights do? So our one of our staff members contacted about 8 or 9 schools that have Friday night graduations, and this is awful to tell you, and I know I'm TV, I won't mention the schools, but most of them didn't even realize it was a problem or a conflict. Several of them didn't know it was the same weekend as Special Olympics, so didn't really get good advice there. And then the one district that did know about it and answered, and this is not the popular thing to say, and I know that, I know we have people here, but to tell the facts, said, you know, kids make a choice whether they go to graduation or Special Olympics. I'm not saying that's right, I'm saying the one district that gave us an answer, that was the only answer we got of all the Friday night crowds. So Sunday, there's been some cons of Sunday, the heat of the day, but it doesn't conflict with school. The majority of our people seem to want Friday night. We set, so we had voted the past 3 or 4 years, so this year, trying to get ahead of it, the board voted Friday night, let's put it in the calendar so people can plan, because the other people can't plan, they don't know when to come, people fly in, people make plans. So we set it, and obviously Heidi has brought this concern. So that's how we got here. It's a board sets the calendar. I'm not trying to put it in your lap, but it would be a board decision as to what the pros and cons are, or Friday, Sunday, changing it, Special Olympics, etc. That's the research that I did. I don't know how useful that is. But again, Friday night and Sunday seems to be the most two popular days to graduate students. And just to clarify one point that I made, you can't really change weekends because you have to graduate within 5 days of the normal end of the school year. So that pretty much is the weekend. The board doesn't have discretion to say, let's do it the week earlier. I guess the board would have discretion to go a week later, but anybody that's worked with seniors, keeping them a week beyond everybody else to graduate, you know, I think seniors, and I don't want to put you on the spot, seniors tend to want to get out as soon as they can get out, and it's been that way for a long time. So I think if the board, whatever the board wants to do, but I think that is the weekend because of how the school calendar falls. I don't think there's a lot of flexibility in weekends. It would have to be on that weekend. And I know there are other things, and sporting events, and track meets, and we've heard that in the past. I think when there was a track meet on Saturday, and you graduate Friday night, the kids would have to choose Project Grad or the track. So this is not a unique conversation. Super appreciative to the folks bringing it to the attention. That's everything I know.
All right, I appreciate all that legwork. That helps answer some questions for me. So I, being a recent, having a senior, and then doing Project Grad and trying to figure out, because of the state track meet and having Project Grad, and having a senior who couldn't get a wait to leave school and is not really in it. So I do wonder if Thursday might not be the day. And the only reason I say that is because, well, obviously they want to get out of school. When you're doing the project graduation, if we did it that night after Thursday, those seniors aren't really required to be at school after graduation.
If they would graduate on Thursday, that's correct.
Then they would not have school. So I don't have a lot of interest. I feel like there's a lot of staff participation that on a graduation on a Sunday. And they did have a vote when my daughter had it, but they voted, the kids voted. The kids voted for Friday night. And, you know, those parents who told their kids they wanted Sunday probably picked Sunday. So I feel for you guys, you know, and I know it's a hard choice for everyone to make and a hard choice for us. And every year we seem to be debating graduation. But I think we want to get to a point where we're not doing this anymore, and Thursday might become our day. That's just my thoughts.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I was a member for Thursday as well. At least try it for a year and see, you know, what happens. If it actually works out for everybody, then great, we'll stick to it. But if not, then we might have to revert back to a different date. But I'd be open to trying Thursday.
So for all my years in high school, I always volunteered in what they called the WOW room. I don't know if they still call it the WOW room or not, but it was the special education room, and I went to Orono a few times, and before I graduated, and I tell you, it was a absolutely thrilling experience, and it was huge, and it was it was just nothing short of amazing to watch these kids be able to be involved in such big, massive crowd of events and be so proud of all the work that they had, worked for and accomplished. And so I don't think that they should have to choose. I think that it should be a Thursday night thing, because these kids should not have to, they shouldn't have to choose. I mean, just going to Orono, it was just massive. I went for 3 years, and it just is so, I can't describe how much the kids looked forward to it when I was in high school anyways. I remember a lot of the kids, I still love, a lot of the kids that I worked with and everything, and they shouldn't have to choose between graduation and doing this event that they've worked for and worked for and worked for to go all the way to Orono. I think it should be Thursday night. I'm totally in agreement with that.
As we know, graduation is a big family event. And I'm glad to hear it was mentioned that not everybody can be satisfied all the time. We've wrestled with times and dates, particularly weekend, and obviously when it comes to family, not only the parents, but aunts, uncles, grandparents, and so on and so forth, and friends are involved. The number within the families greatly surpasses a few students participating in other events. So the strength of our decision did revolve around convenience to the family, and particularly those who travel a distance earlier on the weekend. Friday or Saturday is better than Sunday, because there's, they have to return to work on Monday, and quite often with the families after graduation, it involves family get-together and parties and drag down another day and so on and so forth. So I think it should be strongly encouraged to keep it on Friday night for more of the convenience of the number participating in the families, and particularly those who work. Okay.
I think we should consider changing, for sure. A group has come to us and requested it, and I think a weeknight is going to be problematic, because if you get it a Thursday night graduation, now Wednesday evening, afternoon, whatever, senior assembly, I can tell you other athletics and clubs are going to have problems that week. Anything that's in playoffs is definitely playing that week, and that's going to be a problem. So I think perhaps we should consider going back to Sunday. I think it only changed from Sunday because we had the fancy lights and all that, and I think we should just consider putting it back on Sunday. I know it's a heat problem, request people to bring water, bring an umbrella, I don't know. I think if we go on a school day, weekday, you're running into problems with other groups, and I think you're gonna be in the same situation that we're in right now. Where Sunday, I don't think there can be any athletics in the NPA, and I don't know about anything else.
No
I don't
games
think we
for
have
sure,
any
no
conflicts
carnival
on
games for
Sunday.
sure.
I understand the travel issue, but I think if it's important to you, you'll find a way to get there, and you'll find a way to get back home on time. I think if it's important, you make the priority, but I think the priority for us should be students, and students being available to go to it without having to make a choice. And I don't think these students should have to make a choice, but I also don't think baseball or softball or track or anybody else should have to make a choice either.
So I think Sunday as well. I graduated Sockby in 1990. On Father's Day, June 17th, it was the hottest day of my life. I was the Grand Marshal. We were out there in the blazing hot sun on the baseball field. Grandparents were dropping like flies, but they were happy to be there. It was always a tradition to have it on Sunday. It was because of the lights, that we got fancy lights on the soccer field. The kids that were talking about missing something already miss things in their life. They shouldn't, Special Olympics has had an established weekend as well. And I know it's been a tough decision, not only for the students and their families, but for many of the staff that work at Sockby who want to be part of Special Olympics and be part of graduation. I think these are really special individuals who participate in Special Olympics and are graduating from our school. And to say, oh well, it's just not right. I think that they have every right to be at both events that are very, very important in their lives. So I do think Sunday. I've been to graduations many years here. Many times they were rained and we had to have them in the gym, and they were much hotter in that gym than they were sitting outside in the sun. So I think, to say it's going to be a hot day, yeah, it may be, but it's going to be a hot day if it's in the gym too. So I think that the students that we're talking about are way too important to say that we're not gonna change this graduation date.
Joanne was first.
So I'm just gonna come at it from a different perspective because I have overseen the seniors for the past, I don't know, 10-something years maybe. So much like Amy said, some of them are done when they are done, long before we start marching practice. If, I do, going back, I graduated long before Susie, and it was never an option to have it outside, even on a Sunday, it was in the gym. But I do think that over time, with the weather, it has gotten hot. There have been people that, like you say, dropping like flies, and so the evening is better. I want to go back to and I was going to ask Carl whether, I know the 5 days before the last day of school, whatever, we have in the past 1 year, I can't name the year, we doubled up on, and don't anybody tell Dr. Wolf that I'm saying this because he would hate this, double up on senior assembly and graduation in the same day. To do them both on Thursday, it is a possibility. It's a long time if we don't do anything on Friday from the last day of keeping seniors involved in school till Sunday. And times have changed since I was in school because we have to have something that they're doing to keep them invested in not making poor decisions, maybe that's my word I want to use. So I do think that it is possible to, and not every school has senior assembly, but that is a Sockby tradition that has been around for a long time. So it is possible to double up on that. I do agree that if senior assembly was on Wednesday and graduation was on Thursday, that's going to be difficult for people that are flying in or driving in from somewhere. But that would keep everybody involved so that the students could attend.
You said Sunday was also a possibility, correct?
Yeah,
Would that-
because usually
So
we
would
leave on
Sunday
Thursday,
morning
Friday.
Can we have it at like 9 a.m.? I mean, how
Well,
many students?
9 a.m. we're not back yet, because usually we leave Friday morning. They do the parade through all the schools, so all the kids come out and cheer them on and stuff, and they look forward to that.
Mhm.
We drive up to Orono,
Yeah.
so Friday night, they have a big parade, there's opening ceremonies and all
Mm-hmm.
that goes on Friday night. Saturday morning, they're up a little after 6, having, events.
It's a long day.
day.
I remember. I didn't
And then they
remember
have
when
their
we came
dance
back.
at night, and then Sunday morning, we get up, pack up, have breakfast, and usually we're back in town by like noon, 1 o'clock. We shoot for noon is typically when we come back, but it's just, Saturday is a very long day, and with them, the van is a great option, but they'd have to do graduation and then drive all the way up there, get up there really late, first thing in the morning, they'd have to be up early to do their event, and, they're missing out on a lot come Friday night. So it just, ideally, Sunday afternoon or Thursday.
I agree with Jen that I feel like any weekday that could potentially host a school event would become a conflict at some point for us. And my feeling about this is we need to pick a day and kind of live with it forevermore. I'm a planner, and if my kid was a senior this year, graduation date is already in my calendar, and everything surrounding graduation is already planned out in my calendar, and I've already told my whole family that that's when it's gonna be, and this moving target year after year, and opportunity for people who have conflicts to come and then we change it again. I think it gets to be too much over and over for everyone involved, for us to try to set a school calendar, for administration to try to plan year-end and school year things, for potentially sports teams, right? We've seen it before. I think the last time we talked about this was because there was a baseball game or something going on. Track meet. So I think we need to find a place where this lands, that we're not doing this over and over again, and we need to commit to it. I mean, I've heard tradition, Sockeye tradition mentioned at least 4 times in this conversation here. And I think people plan on that, right? Like, oh, graduation is always, or senior assembly is always, or I think we need to set something and stick with it. And I see a lot of potential conflict for Thursday night if we have teams, sporting things going on.
I agree that we need to land on something and just drive a stake in the ground for planning purposes and all that. You're absolutely right. When it comes to things like, you know, the season of a sport being extended because we've got playoffs and championship games and whatever, there's no way of knowing that. But there is with the Special Olympics, we do know when that is. And so, surely we're smart enough that we can figure something out, that at least the things that are fixed, we can plan for those. And if somebody has something else because the season has gone long, then somebody's gonna have to somebody, no matter what we do, is gonna have to make a choice. And to me, it just seems like if you know that something is a fixed event, then you plan around the fixed events and just hope for the best with everything else, And so I don't care if it's Thursday night, Sunday, whatever, but I would love for us to be creative enough with either scheduling things at the tail end of the year for the seniors, like Joanne said, just something, anything that would accommodate these kids being able to go to Special Olympics.
I was just wondering if with Project Graduation, is it something they have to leave right after graduation, or can they leave the next day? Or like if we had it on a Sunday evening, like at 5 or 6 when it's not so hot?
It's a great question. I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't. I think we're looking at Project Graduation as well, because we haven't had a lot of participation in that, and I don't want to, we might look at Project Graduation in a different way.
I was just saying, if we could do it like a Sunday evening, and then, the older generation's not burning out in the sun.
That has been the Project Graduation piece has been super challenging. We're thankful to the parents that do that, and so we are looking at that. We have some folks with some great ideas. It's just not ready to tell you yet, but if that piece were different, I think it would give us some more flexibility as well. So that's a very valid point. We're looking at it, yes.
Yes, the question I have is, how many schools is there in the state of Maine?
Gee whiz, if you look at just like, so I'd say a high school is 100, and give me some flexibility, or 130 to 150-ish.
Okay, and how many of them graduate on about that same day?
Oh yeah, so the 2 post-pops are Friday night, Sunday. Those are the 2 most popular
I guess my
days.
point is, we're being asked to change our date. Maybe somebody should be delegated to ask Special Olympics to move theirs a week ahead or back or whatever.
That occurred to me too. I had that exact same thought. There's
You
way
know,
more
I
of
mean,
us.
I'm not saying
No, I
that
know,
to be
but I had
mean,
the
by no
same
means.
thought.
I would say almost every high school in Maine is graduating some flavor of that weekend.
Yeah.
A couple of the bigs are Thursday or
Right,
would be,
right.
but the majority of high schools are graduating Friday or Sunday of that week.
Mhm. I don't know, I mean, it might be a possibility.
So I have a question about the date and the 5 days, so that they have to graduate within 5 days.
Of the regular end of the school year.
Okay, so do snow days affect that at all?
The regular end of the school year, not inclusive of snow days.
Okay. Because and I know it was a long time ago, but when I graduated, it was June 17th. That was not the first weekend of June. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I know we don't. And often, I will tell you that middle school and elementary school, we see graduation date and we sigh. I'm trying to figure out why it used to be that graduation date was set around January, February, and now it's set before school even starts. So is it because we don't have to care about those snow days? Because that's, I thought, the reason that it was
Yeah, I
set
think
in
there's a
February.
big misconception, is that the law actually is notwithstanding the subsection, the commissioner shall promote a rule to provide that local school units may allow secondary school students to graduate up to 5 days prior to the regular end of the year. Regular, not snow day end of the year,
Okay.
regular end of the
So
year.
seniors don't have to go a certain number of,
Yeah, that's a big
School days.
misconception in education, almost everywhere, people say that all the time.
okay,
That's the misconception, that's the law.
right,
Within
okay.
5 days of the regular, not snow day, regular
Gotcha.
end of the school year,
Okay.
which for us is June 10th. So within 5 days backwards, 5 school days backwards of June 10th, which lands on the weekend,
Gotcha.
Friday the 5th, Saturday the
Okay.
6th, Sunday the 7th.
That is a misconception within your staff as
It's a
well.
misconception across the state of
Because
Maine.
I will tell you that every year, elementary school and middle school teachers go, really? We can't believe it.
So,
So-
I graduated on June 18th, but when I went to school every year after Labor Day. So these kids are going to school before Labor Day, so.
I don't know.
The
I don't
school that I
remember
went
when
to-
I started school, but back in the day.
It was after Labor Day.
So to be clear, I dare not even say this, this board can certainly keep the seniors and make them graduate July 4th if you want. You can keep them as late as you want. This just gives you the.
The two seniors.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we're glad we have kids here, you can keep them till, like August 14th if you want to, but that sets the typical weekend, so almost every district sets that as their weekend of fun. Now, by the way, a couple districts have said the following weekend, maybe their regular end is the 15th and they can or whatever, but most of them are the weekend of 5, 6, 7.
The year that we graduated, May 31st, which was just a couple of years ago.
It's terrible.
I don't think special ed, I was trying to, I'd have to look at it, whether special ed was,
I don't think it was the same weekend, but I think that
but
was.
May 31st would have been a Friday, because it was a Friday.
Correct.
So if it's always the first weekend in June, I just don't remember it being an issue, so I don't know that it's the first full
I
weekend,
don't know either.
right? Because I didn't hear this as an issue that was only
I bet it
3
is.
years
That was
ago.
fantastic.
Because that was probably every 5 years, we have a calendar that is screwed up. So like this year, for example, Labor Day was the earliest it could ever possibly be, right? So.
Well, it may not have been an issue because we may not have had any seniors graduating, we may not have had any students where it was affecting anything, but now, we have 2 seniors this year. Next year, we don't have any, but then the following year, we have another seniors, but we also have, I go up and volunteer. I would have loved to have gone graduation last year with students that I've, gotten to know over the years, and seen them graduate. I know we have other, another senior here that's she's a volunteer, goes up every year, and absolutely loves it, but she'd have to choose between the two, and, it's just, it may not have been an issue, but I don't think it was the same weekend that year either. I think it's the first full weekend in June.
So I'm just, I hope people, because it's hard to keep everybody happy and coming, it's not without thought, none of this is going without thought or caring or putting kids first. This is just a really, and has been for us for some time, a challenging issue. And I'm sure folks will come to the right decision, but I think it's very challenging.
What time is graduation?
6 p.m.
So can we do it earlier?
Do anything the board wants to do.
Yeah, they want to go to their parade.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure why we changed it because of the lights, because I don't remember the lights.
It's never been dark out.
Yeah.
When we've had it outside,
That was
the lights that we've been
That's a
on.
good point.
One year was
It's not dark.
One year we had it at 7.
Oh, just to use the lights?
Okay.
The
And we
mosquitoes
got, the mosquitoes were the worst thing I've ever in my entire life. It has never been at 7 again. So now it's at 6.
That's true.
But I think it was before the lights the first time, and I think it was earlier when you graduated.
In
you-
'04, we
you
we
were out on
fighting
that
the
field.
lights. Yeah.
I think the lights were on, but they weren't needed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a big thing when I
2004,
graduated in
yep.
2004 that we were gonna have the lights. And so regardless of what happened, I just remember our
Turned
being on
the
Friday
lights
night
on.
and having on the damn lights because they were like, well, you know, you can't shut them off all weekend now because they need to, you know, we took all that time to turn them on and it was a whole big thing in 2004. So that's all I remember.
Well, we're proud Zachary graduates on this award. Exciting.
So I just want, just looking at these papers that Heidi brought, there's a large number of staff from the high school that signed this, and there are many 2006 graduates who are gonna graduate who have signed this. So that speaks, to me, that shows that it's not just important to a few.
So, in the interest of not making people sit here all night and try to sort this out, my assumption is the board would like to take some sort of action to address this, so we should put an action item on our next agenda, and we will discuss and take action on one way or another. Yes? Is this the feeling of the board?
The November board meeting?
There's enough variety that does need discussion at another meeting.
But we'll put it as an action item and we will vote one way or another.
And is that sufficient time that if you decide to change something, it won't throw anybody into a?
I'm speaking for this, I feel like November's fairly early. There was a time, to Ms. Ray's point, that we were February or so. I think waiting too long might be challenging, but I think the only concern about switching now is being publicized one way, and you switch, it's fine, you go ahead, but so I would say, my view would be the sooner the better kind of thing, you know.
And as far as the project grad change
Hopefully
goes,
we'll have
will we know something more then?
just,
So
I'm gonna
we
make
can-
eye contact with my friend this day. Hopefully we
Figured
can
in
have more
regards
information next month.
I think it's definitely changing.
So we
Okay.
can take that into consideration with our decision.
We went on a song group with a week. That was my project, right? You know.
Okay. We'll continue to pass these around, but that was all that was on our agenda, so I'm gonna say meeting adjourned, and we'll see you all next week, but next week for,
So this, to be clear, this will be November, action item of some sort, right?
yes,
November.
we have a special meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Mr. Stevenson.